the patient's coming in late.
Just making sure I get my energy shot. Okay, so I think we're gonna have someone arriving in a few minutes, but if you ladies wanna get started, that'd be great. So thanks for coming today. As you all know, this is a group for working on some DBT skills. Now I just wanted to get a little bit of background and kind of figure out why you're all here and where you're coming from. So if you wanna just go around and introduce yourself and let us know something about yourself and kind of what background you're coming from and why you're here today. So I'm gonna start with you.
So I'm Aisha, and being here because I have I have some issues with my mood. Sometimes go up, sometimes go down. I lost lots of my happiness life. I lost a lot my family and my friends just because of my work. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Aisha. It's nice to meet you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm here because I'm just having a really hard time with my boyfriend right now. We've been getting to, one second I'm like okay, and then the next second I explode and blow up in his face, sometimes for no reason, sometimes for a reason. It's just I have a really hard time controlling my emotions, and it's just been difficult lately.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing, and hopefully some of the stuff we're gonna work on today will help you out with that.
Cat. Pissed off all the time.
Thanks for sharing with us, Kat. We're good. Sure. If that's all you wanna say, that's all you have to say. Is there anything you hope to get out of the group?
Yeah, not be pissed off all the time.
Not be pissed off all the time. Okay. Well, I think that some of the stuff we're gonna work on today will be able to help you out with that. Kind of thinking of some ways we can soothe ourselves when we're upset. Okay? And
I'm Brenna. I guess I'm here because sometimes I'm a little depressed and a lot of my relationships suck. Like my parents suck and my boyfriend fight all the time.
So he sucks.
So he sucks too, yeah.
okay.
They just don't get me.
So you're looking for some help kind of managing those tough relationships?
Yeah, I guess figure out why I suck so much.
And we have a newcomer to the group, our DBT group today.
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay, it happens. What's your name?
Lori.
Okay, and what brought you here today?
I don't know. I guess everything is kind of discombobulated and having some issues at home and work and
Do you guys all have a pen available by any chance?
Yeah.
Because we're just going to do a little bit of work at some point with worksheets, so just want to make sure you're all able to.
Yeah, I remember you doing that earlier. I would have mentioned some pencil, okay?
Yeah, anything you write with is perfectly fine. So, one of the biggest things about DBT, from my understanding, you guys have all done some outpatient DBT therapy before. And so essentially a lot of what we work on is trying to figure out those negative thoughts and mindsets that you have and kind of the, I guess really distressing thoughts that can kind of come up. I know sometimes when we have thoughts that are really difficult and hard to manage, they can lead to some emotions that are really hard to manage, which in turn can lead to some behaviors that are pretty hard to manage. And that can lead to some of the stuff that was mentioned as we came around the circle, which is like the moods that you've had, Aisha, and Jess, you shared with us about, you know, relationships with your boyfriend kind of being up and down, and Brenna, you shared also about some sucky relationships, as you put it. So hopefully some of what we can go through today will be able to help you guys be able to better manage some of the stuff that you're working on. So, the first thing I wanted to do is talk about how to kind of identify and observe your own emotions. And that can be a pretty tough thing to do, especially sometimes you feel angry and you just kind of assume, oh, well, I'm pissed off. A lot of the time there's a little more behind that. So I have a worksheet, to fill it out. We're going to go around and kind of talk about it though. So if you could just pass that around, that'd be great. So what I want you to do is there's a little block up at the top where it says what's the name of your main emotion. And so I would like you all to take a minute and just kind of think of an emotion that you're having difficulty managing these days, something that really has been interfering with any part of your life, whether it's school or home, relationships. It doesn't have to be one of the ones listed here. If it's not, that's fine, and just, put your own down. And then rate kind of from 1 to 10 how intense that emotion feels for you.
Just one emotion, right?
You can pick a bunch, but I think we're all going to kind of share, go around and share what that emotion is. And then share, if you could write down also below that, fill out the second question, and write what was kind of happening in your life or in the environment when you started to have that emotion. And then we can just go around and kind of share so everyone can get an idea of what we're all working on today. Just take a few minutes to do that, and as we finish up, we'll kind of go around and share. Oh no, just the first two, and then we're gonna go around and go into the other ones. Yeah. How's everyone doing? Like everyone's still working? Yeah. Everyone just about done with that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think the next step will be, we'll all just kind of go around the room and we'll name that specific emotion. And then I want you to also say out loud the rate of intensity of that emotion, so whatever number you chose. So yeah, Lori, we can maybe start with you, and we'll kind of go around. Great.
So I checked off anger, and I rated it an 8. And I was thinking of one time this week, I was at home with my family and I was in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner, and everyone just kind of left and went and watched TV and was on their phones, and everyone was
happened when you snapped? What kind of was like the result of it?
Not much. Well, my oldest kind of got annoyed with me because I was yelling, and he was like, "Well, I cleaned up my dish," and my husband was working on stuff for his work, so he thought like he was already doing. I don't know, like no one jumped the way I wanted them to, and I didn't feel any better after either. It was just more annoying than anything else.
Yeah, so it sounded like it was you feeling like you were doing a lot of work for other people, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
that can
And some
definitely
nights I don't mind, but like I have my own stuff I have to do.
definitely be a situation that would kind of reduce that feeling of anger and some other emotions too, I'm sure. Thank you for sharing. So Aisha?
Yeah. So the emotions that I feel is anger, and the rate was 10. So I feel like being angry and out of my mood when I talk to someone, they don't listen to me, or they don't show some respect for me, and so those things make me angry, and it hurts me a lot.
I can see how it would be hard to have someone not show you respect, especially when you're trying to show them respect. That sounds
Yeah.
like a tough situation.
I also chose anger, and the rate is a 10. It was kind of hard to talk about like a specific situation because it really just always depends on what it is. It happens so much lately that we just start to talk normally, and then all of a sudden it just escalates so quickly into me yelling at him. Even like, I guess I kind of remember the other day he didn't put the trash out and it was still like awful, and I like just started screaming, yelling at him, because it just instantly just like made me mad. So it happens a lot. And really.
That sounds like there was a pretty quick thing
Yeah,
that happened.
like it doesn't like slowly ease into it, it just goes from 0 to 10 really quickly, so.
What about you, Kat?
I'm gonna tell you about the situation that landed me here. So, my PO, I'm trying to get my kids back, and my PO just kept saying, "Oh, I heard you doing drugs, I heard you doing drugs, I heard you doing drugs." So pissed off, I flipped out on him. I'm just trying to get my kids back. What the hell? Why is he accusing me of doing something? So I flipped out on him.
What did that look like, the flipping out? What
I don't know.
happened?
I see black when I flip out.
Did anyone get hurt physically, or what kind of a?
I don't think so. I mean, they didn't charge me with anything, so I guess nobody got hurt.
That's a bonus, right there.
Great.
Sounds like it. But I take it that's what kind of resulted in you being here today?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Probably not the first place you want to be, I understand, but it sounds like you have a really strong goal of getting the kids back. And I think,
Like, what kind of person is he, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get my kids back, that's my goal. You know, I did the DBT thing before, focus on your goals.
well, I'm hoping that maybe another try will get you able to find some tools that'll help you manage that. So it'll be, everything going black will happen less often. I hope that for you. Brenda.
I chose disgust, and I rated a 7 to 8. Disgusted with my family because they stopped when they let me for everything. My boyfriend doesn't want to settle down and just get married because he has all these stupid goals that he wants to do and achieve before. But I don't really care. I just want to get married, and he doesn't, so I'm a little disgusted. Yeah, he's dumb.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
He's an idiot.
It's interesting that everyone kind of had a commonality with the anger, and Brenna, that you chose disgust. What is, when you think about that word disgust, like, I'm curious about that, like, what does that feel like for you, like that idea of disgust?
I don't know, like I just don't want to be around them. Like, I feel like they think that they're better than me.
around and get a sense of, cause I feel like a common, I think a pretty common thing in terms of dealing with anger is that we often have, certain assumptions and beliefs about why we're feeling a certain way and maybe about the situation. And I think that, you know, when we get angry, we're unable to think about the situation really in a rational way. I think that we tend to focus with it, you know, in the midst of all that anger, how it affects us specifically, and I think that we kind of have a tendency to jump to conclusions sometimes. So I think I just kind of want everyone to reflect a little bit on what your assumptions, beliefs, and myths about the situation and the feeling, and what you're telling yourself about that emotion. And so I know that most of us have anger, so I just kind of want to get a sense of, you know, what everyone feels as though their beliefs are about that situation. What do you tell yourself? So we can all take a few minutes to go ahead and write that down, and then we'll kind of regroup and share. I just want to remind everyone too that it's okay if this is hard for you. I know sometimes emotions can be a pretty overwhelming thing, and when we start to think about them, it can kind of bring up some strong feelings. So if at any point you feel overwhelmed, you can feel free to step out, or you can feel free to let us know. And if there's a part of this that's too upsetting or triggering for you, you can feel free to opt out, no questions asked. But the only thing we ask of you is that you just try your best to kind of make it through these exercises, even if it's tough.
So the question is about my feelings towards being angry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for example, let's say I was feeling ashamed that, let's say I was feeling ashamed that my mom was upset with me for something that I did when I was a kid, and I feel shame over that. So it would be, what are my assumptions about that shame? That I did something wrong, or that my mom's a jerk for still being mad at me. Those are kind of assumptions we have about it. Or a myth about the shame that maybe something is our fault. So it's kind of what we think about the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty loaded question, so if anybody needs, you know, Jess rephrased it really well, but you know, if anybody needs more clarity, feel free to ask. That's kind of what DBT is about in a lot of ways. It's about kind of linking the thoughts that we have with those feelings that we have, and trying to help use thoughts to distract from the feeling. Someone in here smells really good. That was so creepy. I'm sorry. Someone in here smells so good.
That hasn't been so bad.
I know, right?
Whatever it is, I recognize it. I used to wear it. Someone's wearing a fragrance I used to wear because I recognize the smell. Could be. I felt like it was coming from here, but I smell it. I do smell it. Yeah, I used to wear Michael Kors. I'm gonna
Do a water
smell
bottle.
Cat. Okay.
This is on video, don't forget.
Oh yeah, that's Cat. Yep.
I called it stuff like
Wait, you're joking.
No, it smells good.
You really do Cat.
Let's play that. I'm just angry.
I don't smell good.
Don't smell it.
No violence in this group. Hands-off kind of group. No hand-to-hand combat in DBT.
It's no fun.
No.
I doubt it.
Come around and say
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, she said you would?
no, but she has one.
Yeah, we don't do kind of cramming everyone in. Lori, how many hours did you have?
I read it.
On paper, I'm telling you, but you don't need to.
We had that, we each accidentally erased one of our own sessions, so we had to kind of do the same thing over.
So I have to. More, but you don't.
Yeah, I have, I brought my laptop.
What the hell, I can't stand this.
She looks like a minute cat. You're being very distracted with me right now. I'm trying to figure this out.
Do you have value?
No, I didn't look at it. Which one are you doing?
Alright, are you guys close to finishing, or are you still working? You okay over there, Jeff? You having a hard time?
I'm having a very hard time right now. I don't know how to process how I feel. Cause it just shoots from like 0 to 10, so it's hard to like know. Speaking of, stupid asshole calling me right now. He knows I'm in the group. Why is he calling me?
He's a stupid
Pisses me off. I
asshole.
don't get him. I really don't. I don't understand.
Alright, we'll just take some deep breaths. We're gonna kinda go around, and if you still feel like you're too kind of amped up, or maybe if sharing would help, I don't know.
You really should try to process that emotion right now and think about your goals.
I don't know what my goals are though. My goals are to rip his head off.
That's what I learned from DBT last time.
Gold.
Goals?
Gotta focus on the goals.
Eye on the prize. Okay. Let's start with Brett this time. So to discuss.
I said, I believe I'm right and they're wrong. I believe it's a myth that I'm screwed up, and I assume that they will always suck. I'm telling myself I need a new family and a new boyfriend.
Okay. Some pretty powerful feelings, and it sounds like you're pretty certain of kinda how you feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we wish we could choose our family, and in some ways we can. We can choose, you know, a group of friends to be as close as family.
Gotta find them somewhere.
Do you have a good support network?
No, they all suck.
So everyone sucks.
Yep. That's really negative.
She's angry.
Is there,
Disgusted.
actually she's disgusted. Is there, is there,
Talk about me.
is there anyone
She
in your
knows
life,
about me.
Brenna, that doesn't suck?
Yeah, me.
No, I mean a person who's not you.
My dog.
I was gonna ask what animal.
Yeah.
I'm glad your dog, what kind of dog do you have?
A miniature picture.
That doesn't suck, that's wonderful.
He bites the sucky people.
Jeez.
He's a little aggressive. For real though. Appropriate.
So you're disgusted and your dog is angry?
I'm not because he's angry, I'm happy.
Maybe a dog should go to DBT.
You should bring him next time.
Dog would be
I know,
fine.
your head off.
Sorry.
Dog behavior therapy, DBT.
Okay, Kat, why don't we talk about what your assumptions and beliefs about your anger were?
So I'm not angry right now, but it's
I don't wanna see you angry.
I shouldn't want to. But it's not my fault that I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like, other people piss me off, and they couldn't judge me. I hate it when people judge me. Like, I'm just trying to, you know, I'm just trying to change. So I keep, you know, like, tell myself when I'm angry, as if they don't know shit about me.
So essentially, kinda what I'm hearing you say is that when you're angry, it's
Other people's
not other
fault.
people's fault.
No, it is other people's fault.
Okay.
They make me angry. Like my PO.
What they do that makes you angry.
Yeah, like my
That's
PO
stupid.
telling me that I was doing drugs. He doesn't live with me every day. He doesn't know what I do. So how can he accuse me of doing something? He made me angry.
Okay. Well,
Like her people being so shitty to her is making me angry.
I'm glad you guys are identifying these kind of emotions, and it's interesting that I'm hearing you both kind of,
I'm sorry.
I said it was okay.
that I'm hearing you both kind of describe, like almost a depersonalization of it, that you're both saying, well, this is this other person's fault. I'm not saying that's necessarily right or wrong, but it's interesting that I'm kind of hearing that, because emotions are kind of a tough thing. They can come from the inside and the outside. So it's interesting to kind of hear those perspectives, and thanks for sharing, both of you. Jess, what about you? How are you feeling over there?
I don't know. I'm just like confused right now. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I'm just frustrated, and it's just tough to like think about how I really feel, or like just because it's like not a specific situation. It's almost like every day. It's just from 0 to 10 every day. The second I get home from work, every day. It's like I don't know.
So what are some of your beliefs or your thoughts about that 0 to 10 every day? When that happens, like, what do you think about that?
I don't know, like it's like it doesn't really even start with me. It always starts with him. It's always him that does something that makes the argument start. So I don't try to start it. It's like once he starts talking, it's like I just get instantly like, so, I don't know.
Alright, thanks for sharing. Aisha, what about you?
Well, after being angry at that situation, like, I feel bad about myself, and I feel like, why did people doing that for me? Like, why did they hurt me? Why did they, make me angry? So, yeah.
So some of your beliefs are that you're feeling kind of bad about it
Yeah.
and wondering why someone would do that to you.
Yeah.
So,
And that makes me feel that I'm not gonna talk to them anymore. Like, they really hurt me, so I'm not gonna talk to them anymore. But they're gonna make me feel angry again.
so it makes you feel like it's not worth engaging with those people who make you angry. Okay. Molly, what about you?
Well, I was fixated on the situation, cause that's what the paper says, situation or feeling, so I, thinking back, like, I guess I assumed that they're being lazy, that they would rather do nothing than help, or do what they were doing rather than help, and, like, I feel like they never looked at it from anyone else's perspective except their own. So they're all very selfish.
Okay.
Well, you guys have some really excellent insight into kind of like some of the, beliefs that we have in regards to why we feel so angry. I feel like a pretty common theme was kind of things that other people do that sort of might escalate or amplify our anger a little bit. And that can be really challenging when we're already struggling with sort of managing our emotions, and, we might have people in our lives that might not really totally understand the situation. We might have, like you were saying, how, I heard you mention that your boyfriend doesn't want to get married, so just kind of, especially other people in our families or in kind of our inner circle that might have their own goals that don't really match ours, that can be really frustrating, and it can, definitely lead to a lot of those emotions, so everybody did a really great job with that. Next thing I want to do is just kind of go around and get a sense of how we know when we're feeling angry, in terms of our body sensations. So, I mean, this could be, obviously, like, we kind of feel like, our heart's racing a little bit, we notice maybe our breath might be getting a little bit short, we might notice kind of discomfort in our throat, maybe headaches, we might, notice some, get a little bit flushed in the face, or our fists clench, or, so why don't we go around and just kind of, based on the emotions, so for example, so for disgust, anger and shame, I kind of want to know what that feels like from a physiological, bodily perspective, so if we all just want to go around and describe those sensations based on the emotion that we chose. So, anyone can start. Brenna, if you want to start, feel free.
Sure. Disgust. I wanna throw up. I wanna run. I wanna leave. My throat hurts, cause I feel it in my throat. That's about it.
When you say you want to run, done, where do you just wanna
Generally, I don't wanna be around them.
escape the area and
Yeah.
get away from everything? Okay. What about you, Kat? What sensations do you notice?
Like, my heart starts racing. My hands kinda get in this ball fist.
Mhm. Anyone ever get kinda like tightness in their muscles a little bit, like,
Mhm.
that's a big one as well?
Like, you know, can't breathe.
Have a hard time.
Like,
Very, very common sensation right there.
that's it. And then I black out.
Yeah, my body gets really hot, like I just, yeah, I get really tense, my hands clench, my feet, my legs feel tight, like my whole body just feels really tight, and I just get really hot, my face gets all red, and yeah, it's kind of really, my neck always hurts too after. It's weird, every time one spot always hurts.
Cause your neck is tense.
Yeah.
Aisha, you have anything?
Yeah, so I feel tense stomach, I feel like my hand, how raised, I feel you know, yeah, it's okay too.
I can like hear my heartbeat in my ear, like it pulses. Wait, is that weird?
No, that's what you need.
And then I tend to get really loud. I talk loud anyways, and then I get really loud, and then everyone thinks I'm yelling, and I'm not really yelling yet, it's just building up to yell. And I definitely like can get like red, flushed, like people know when I'm mad. Like I definitely can see it.
Yeah, no, so that was all really great insight. We all kind of shared, very similar responses. We all kind of, get a little bit flushed. We get, muscle soreness, some changes in our breath. So those are obviously very common.
It's really interesting how those physiological changes can happen just as a result of something we're thinking or feeling. It's a pretty powerful thing if you think about it, how something that you're experiencing on the inside in your brain can have such a strong effect on how your body feels, and such a wide range too. I heard Brenna say that she felt like she wanted to throw up, she could feel it in her throat and chest, and I heard other people say they could feel it in their ears, they could feel their heart racing, they could feel, dizzy. It's amazing what a wide range and what a powerful range of physiological feelings we can experience. So I want to go through the rest of the sheet, and the next question I wanted to have you guys look at, this one I'm going to have you write because it's a little bit of a complex question. So what's your body language when you have this emotion? What would someone think was going on if they walked past and saw you as you were feeling that emotion? So for most of you it'll be anger, but Brenna, for you, disgust, anger. So essentially if I walked by you when you were in the full throes of anger, or when you were really disgusted, what would I think was going on? Like, how would I be able to tell? Let's just go through and write those down, and then we'll go through them as a group. Yeah, we pass.
That person totally belongs in school.
We should be done in 40 minutes now. So we'll be done like right before 6. We're gonna take a break right now. After we go through this question, we're gonna take a break. Yeah, so filming an hour and a half. So we can take a break now for like. Oh wait, I'm sorry. So if we take a break, that doesn't count. Yeah.
You can read it.
I think, yeah. Wait, we started at 10? I'm sorry. I don't know what time it is, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, we literally like started 10 seconds ago. It's different, but we're ready for DVT. She's a ticket. I thought a cat on it. A cat's alter ego.
How's everyone doing with their responses? Is everybody pretty much done?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So we're just going to talk a little bit about our body language. So we talked a little bit about, obviously, the physiological symptoms before, but now I kind of want to get a sense of how you guys interpret sort of your body language when you get angry. So what would somebody think if they walked by and saw you angry? What would your kind of posture look like? What kind of gestures, facial expressions would you be making? Brenna, we can start with you.
I usually just bite my tongue, and then I answer pretty quickly and walk out.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's about it.
I don't know, I look like I'm gonna punch somebody.
So you look like you're gonna punch somebody, so do you kind of posture in a certain, or like kind of present your body in a certain kind of way?
Death,
Mm-hmm.
like boxing.
So you kind of get, defensive in like
So a defensive stance.
defensive stance, yeah.
And then I get real close to the other person, I guess.
So you get up in their grill.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
The international sign for getting up in your grill. I think that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Throw down.
Like, so close, like, spit on them.
I hate those people.
I am those people.
So what would someone-
She hates those people.
She just said that she hated me.
No, those people
Okay,
are
alright.
so close to
You're
your
a
face
baby.
that they spit when they talk and it hits you. I cannot.
You guys, I think,
Not
I think you
intentionally,
guys
not
might be talking
intentionally.
about different things. I'm pretty sure
I'm talking about
Lori
when I'm
was
mad
saying
at
she hates
somebody.
you.
No,
I
I'm saying
think Lori just didn't wanna get spit on. I think that's what she was saying,
like
that's
that,
all.
right.
Wasn't anything
I don't go
personal,
around
right?
being close to people like that, I got a bubble.
You have a bubble, okay, good, I'm glad, alright. So Jess, how about you?
So I know my face is usually red when I'm mad. I don't know how my facial expression looks, but my hands are clenched when I'm mad. I'm usually pacing back and forth.
And you're sweating.
And I'm sweating, yeah, profusely. It's an Italian thing.
Because she's the red,
Yeah.
she's just really hot.
And I talk with my hands a lot, so when I get angry, I talk even more with my
Facial sweat or
hands.
like back sweat, is it like everywhere?
It's, especially when I'm mad at him, he knows.
Like,
Back
I'm-
sweat?
Everything, everything.
Can we stop laughing in this group, 'cause I really gotta pee.
Okay, let's move along, okay,
Okay.
so long, and then we'll take a little bit of a break.
So, yeah.
The end of the day, I'm getting punchy.
Usually I turn red, and that's like my facial expression shows like I'm really being angry. So yeah, that's all about it.
So if someone had walked past you and you're really angry, what would they think was going on? What kind of
They-
assumptions might they make?
Well, they're gonna know I'm angry because I turn red, and
So you think it'd be pretty obvious that you're angry?
yeah, they can
Okay.
tell.
What about you, Lori?
I think when I'm angry, I look very tense. I tap my foot. If I'm at home, I'm definitely a yeller.
Okay.
If I'm out, like at work or something, and I'm mad, it's just more, people know, like they just, it's written out. Arms crossed, toe tapping, bite my lip.
So one thing I noticed is that everybody had some really obvious visible signs of anger, or disgust. Everyone seemed to agree that if somebody were to kind of walk by them and see what was going on, it would be pretty obvious. So it sounds like a lot of you in this group kind of wear those emotions on your sleeves. Definitely, would you seem to agree with that?
You right over there?
Chest pain?
I get angry. Your comment about spit in your face.
I think we settled that, but hopefully we can, let it go.
What's she doing?
I think she was gonna angrily vomit, that was kind of
Right?
the expression
It
I
looked like
thought.
Agita from the.
Agita, exactly. Okay, so I think, considering how we're feeling right now, things are getting a little tense, might want to be a good time to take a break. I'm gonna bring some snacks in here, so, alright. Great. Reconvene in 10 minutes.
Finished. You don't have to make it up to you.
I'm gonna go call this idiot, I don't know why he freaking called me.
What an idiot.
He's so stupid.
I have to see if I can. My kids. I don't know, punch Lord in the face.
I know, I just thought like, cause I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, that's good. I wanna look at the time that's on there. Will you put your computer back on for a sec so I can check that?
Oh, time? Oh, okay.
Yeah, oh, it's still recording though, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's still
okay,
recording.
recording too.
Yeah. We still recording.
49, okay.
So it's 49, like it's almost 1 hour.
Okay. Alright, so we really have like, okay, 2 more minutes, I'll corral people.
Okay.
Do you, you're not vegetarian or anything, right? Do you have like dietary restrictions or anything? I was just curious. I know, I have a couple of friends who are Muslim and don't eat meat, so I'm not sure if that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
correlation.
It's not pork. I think it's
That's it, it's the pork thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, meat and chicken, but it's not, what's its name? How do you know that?
I like to care about things,
Yeah,
but.
about meat. Yeah, but there's meat in it.
Actually, for a while, I wanted to be religion studies major. Yeah, I did that my
That's
first
why,
year of college.
yeah.
Mostly I was fascinated by different religions and things, so I like to learn about it. It always helps, I mean, it's
I
not a
know,
bad
right,
thing
yeah,
for the
that's true.
thing.
I like to learn about many different things.
Me
So I
too.
have the same interest. So yeah, Muslims or Jews, they just eat, they just
Pork.
eat,
The
they don't
kosher
eat
laws
pork.
are
Kosher.
unbelievable. It's like, I have a friend
So
who's
we
really
don't-
strict Orthodox and
we eat kosher, we eat like, chicken,
a lot of people for kosher will shop at the halal markets and vice versa,
Yeah,
which is really
that's
interesting.
true,
Like
yeah.
2 different religions and they have very similar
Yeah,
dietary
that's
stuff.
true.
I have some hummus, some cheddar dip, and some fruit if anyone wants with
Oh,
pretzels.
goodness, ask me how it's great.
Roasted red
Oh, with
pepper.
So much fun.
You know hummus is
Has
the
your
most
son do?
popular thing in Middle
He
East.
did go, I flew in this weekend.
So we just love it. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
I just started like for him.
You started liking it?
Yeah.
No, it was so much fun. I didn't make it through every obstacle, but most of them, so I was pretty
I
proud.
just started eating yogurt. I hate yogurt, but it's so good for you. I have this issue with it, it's a texture and taste. I can't do Greek, I have to Dan lightens it and it has to be like a raspberry or something.
Trader Joe's makes it really good yogurt. They have like a blueberries and cream. So
Is it Greek yogurt?
No.
Okay, good. That I won't touch, I can't even,
It's too tart.
if I even think of the smell of Greek yogurt,
really,
oh god.
yogurt is tricky for me. If I'm not eating it, I try to eat it.
Yeah, me too.
But if I'm in the mood for it, it's fine. Sometimes it's like ice cream.
I can't have dairy anymore. I can't.
Not at all. You can eat the hummus though, right? I don't think it's.
Oh yeah, no, I can,
Yeah.
And roasted red pepper is my absolute favorite.
That's my favorite too, I love it.
Love it.
The eggplant, this is my favorite brand of hummus, the Cedars is like ridiculous, it's so good. It's cheap
There's
too.
another brand I get too that I love.
There's Pope hummus and Joseph's is like a local. That's
Yep,
probably-
that's the one, yep.
Alright. Okay, so, are we missing someone? Are we? No, I guess we're not missing someone, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, yeah. All better next time. Okay. Alright, back in action, folks. How are we all feeling after a break?
A little bit better.
Yeah. It can be some kind of heavy stuff to go through. It's not easy to look at these emotions. They're pretty tough and I think there's a whole lot of thoughts and feelings we have around them. So I thank you guys for all being really engaged and kind of willing to look at this, and it's a tough process, but there's a method to it. So I feel like this is a pretty easy question we may not have to write out. Let's all kind of go around. So thinking back to the emotion that you've all been working on, this worksheet, the main emotion that you're struggling with. What is your action urge with the emotion? Like, what do you feel like doing immediately when you have that emotion? So you can say anything here, no restrictions, as long as we're not actually threatening anybody.
I wanted to pick up the dishes and throw them on the mat.
Okay.
And leave them there.
So destruction.
It would feel so good. It would like, make me
Really?
feel, yeah, like I actually debated like, throw it. Make a big mess and see if anyone else had a reaction to that, or would they just walk up and broken pieces of glass? I don't know.
Okay. How about you, Aisha?
So, yeah, I feel like that's, I feel the same way. Sometimes I feel like I wanna close the door and push it, like open it and close it again, and yeah, I put some anger on things.
Jess, what about you?
I'm just imagining punching him in the face.
It just makes me happy to see about that, I don't know why.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the biggest action is either breaking or hitting something or kicking something or just throwing things at him. And it's sad because it's only him that I'm having this issue with. It's like no one else, so. But yeah.
Tell him to get the fuck out of your way.
I know. I'm getting close to that point. But yeah, so it's mostly hitting and kicking and yelling and, yeah.
Okay. Kat, what about you?
I wanna punch somebody. That's it.
That's it?
Sometimes I think other things too, but
Ooh, tell us about the other thing.
I can't say the other things, she
Says
already
the
knows
same
what's
place.
gonna
Say
happen.
anything in here, as
If I
long
already
as
say
you're not
here, they're
safe
gonna send me
space.
to like some kinda like crisis or
You're already
something.
there.
This is not crisis.
Well,
You
remember,
guys
this is just we can speak freely here as long as we're not actually threatening to hurt anybody. I'm not gonna go and tell your PO as long as you're not actually threatening
If I tell
somebody.
you like, I wanna dismember every single limb that they have,
That's dark.
it's bad.
It is
Yeah, it's a
dark.
little
If you were to
scary.
tell me that you were going
No,
to,
I'm kidding.
then I might have to say something, but if you're telling me you felt like it, that may be a little different.
Of my feelings on them, I'm angry.
So it
I
gets
wanna
to a
take
pretty
them, I
dark
wanna
place.
whack them, and I wanna make like a 6-foot hole, and throw them in there, cover up their body, and then run away like Whitey Bulger.
Have you seen Black Mask yet?
I
Curious.
have not. Nope.
Let's look at the
That's
movie.
some fake shit, you know? They be having those fake Boston accents like that. Trying to be all from Southie.
Okay, so Brenda, what about you?
What I typically wanna leave.
You wanna
I
leave?
don't wanna leave, but I don't ever wanna come back. I'm done.
So it's interesting, I'm hearing some differing kind of things. I'm hearing a couple of you say that you wanna run or be done with the situation, kind of go away. And then I'm hearing others of you say you wanna confront it head on, either smash something, punch or hit the person. So it's interesting, I'm hearing these two very opposite kind of reactions to the same emotion. It's either I wanna confront it, I wanna hit, break, smack, punch, destroy, or I want to avoid it completely. It's interesting how those two really opposite reactions can come from the same kind of emotion. So, I'm gonna have you guys take a minute and write about this one. So what would be the outcome of you acting on that urge that you have? So the urge to either destroy, whatever, or if you can think of another urge you haven't kind of shared yet. What would be the outcome if you decided to act on that? What would be the ramifications of it? What might happen to you? What might happen to other people? And would you be closer or further away from your goals if you acted on that urge? We can look at this, what are the legal repercussions? What are
Get
the
free housing.
emotional
From the board, baby.
That's right, don't have to worry about paying rent.
Well,
Then I wanna get to my kids stuff.
well, there you go.
I know, I
That's
get-
something to write down.
That was shitty. All I'm gonna
Well,
figure
to be
out,
honest.
we're in DBT training right now.
You might get a visitor too.
You know, I want my kids to see me like that. Oh, we're ready to shit down.
Can't keep it together.
It's really nice to see how productive everyone's being and everyone's, having really positive interactions with one another for the most part. For the most part, you have to say,
Yeah, shitty, cause I was like a shitty thing to say. But I've been to these before, and it's real.
When I say
No, I'm picking.
when I say positive interactions, I mean at least we're all, you know, the content of what we're saying might not be ideal, but at least we're all being amicable.
And I have to say, I really appreciate how honest everyone's being, because I think it can be hard, especially seeing as we're all females, there's this kind of gendered aspect to anger where it's okay for guys to, or not necessarily okay, but it's seen as okay for a guy to go, you know, pummel someone or beat them up, but when a woman's angry, it's a totally different story, so I like that you ladies are all comfortable being honest about that anger, and I think that's a really important thing that you can do.
Absolutely.
We can't really confront those emotions and what they mean for us and what they mean for people in our lives if we're not being honest. So I really appreciate everyone's openness today. Okay, is everyone finished? Okay, so let me go around, Brenna. So what would be the outcome of acting on your urge?
Well, I wouldn't have a place to live because I live with my parents. And I wouldn't have any money because so I would do it.
Okay.
So yeah, streets, folks left.
That'd be a pretty big and pretty negative outcome.
Yeah. Certainly. That's why I deal with them.
Okay. So I think it's pretty obvious, the second question, that you'd be further away from your goals if you acted on that urge.
Yeah.
And Kat, what about you?
Well, like I was saying, I mean, if you look at it, 'cause you're like, free room and board, you know, I get in jail, you don't have to worry about rent.
But you would have to worry about your kids. I know
Exactly.
the biggest thing you said when you came in here is that you're here because of your PO and you really want your kids back.
Yeah,
So you might have free room and board, but what happened to your kids?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want my kids to come in, visitation, can't see them all the time. You know, that'd probably hurt them more.
So
I'm
do you
already
think
hurting
that
them, I know.
Do you think that means you'd be further away from your goal?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good, I'm glad you're thinking about that. It's definitely an important aspect of getting a handle on the anger. What about you, Jess?
Well, I guess the biggest outcome would be that one of us would be hurt, physically and mentally, I guess, and it would take us further away from our goal. Our goal is to stop fighting, but part of the reason why I'm here is because of the fact that we've been fighting so much that our neighbors called for cops, and I was put to blame, which is rare, but anyways, yeah, the biggest thing that'll probably end up happening if this training doesn't work is that we're probably gonna break up, so.
And Aisha, what about you?
Well, I think my anger is gonna cause like some problem between me and the one comes to me, like with other people, so I think I'm gonna lose the relationship between me and the people who make me angry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Lori?
So again, I reflected back to the scene of the scene. So I think if I had acted on that and smashed all the food in the kitchen, my kids would have gotten scared. My husband would have gotten mad. We're not great fighters, we don't fight often, so when we do fight, it lasts for a very long time because we're both very stubborn people. And the kitchen would have been more of a mess than it was.
Good. And I really liked, what all of you said. I noticed one big theme of there being loss of home, loss of privileges, loss of, relationships. I think that's a really important thing. And, the one thing I noticed, and legal repercussions also is a big important thing that came up with anger, with lashing out. But Lori, I was especially interested in what you had to say because you mentioned not only what would happen to you, but you mentioned what would happen to other people. You mentioned thinking about other people and their emotions if you were to act on that feeling. I think it's actually really excellent that you kept those two you know, one specific incident, cause it kind of allowed you to delve pretty deep and realize what kind of an impact that would have on your, you know, on your kids and on your family. And I think, while it's definitely important to take care of ourselves first, sometimes, especially for moms, I think thinking about the impact on other people can be a big catalyst for not doing something really destructive. But thank you, some good answers there.
Absolutely.
Wanna take the next leg of it?
Absolutely. So moving right along, so you guys had some excellent insight into what, you know, what the outcome of acting on that urge is. So now I kind of want to think about what would be the better option. So what behavior or coping skill, if you have any yet, and if not, you know, we'll obviously get to that. What type of behavior would work better than that urge that we just spoke a couple of minutes ago? So why don't we take just a couple of minutes to write that down? And again, think about some skills that you might have already learned in previous, you know, previous groups or just previous experiences, therapeutic environments. Oops. Oh my God. Number 7. How's everyone doing with their responses? Everybody pretty much all set? Okay, great.
Lori, sorry.
Oh, no, no, okay, well, we can start with Lori, if you wanna just go ahead and share with all of us what, an alternative or replacement behavior, that would probably work better than, you know, feeling the urge to do what you mentioned, so.
I could have removed myself from the situation. I could have asked for help instead of just assuming that no one wanted to help. I could have left the room and taken a few deep breaths and then come back in. I could have just left everything the way it was.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing, and I'm sure that we'll be hearing some pretty similar responses, but one thing I think that tends to happen when we get angry is that we tend to kind of momentarily lose the ability to use our words. I think it's really difficult for us to communicate verbally. So I like how you mentioned that you could have asked for help, because I think sometimes when we're angry, it can be really difficult to kind of muster up the ability to speak in kind of a, you know, clear, cohesive way, and in a way that's going to get our needs met. I know that we often act out, you know, not using our words. It could be physically, it could be, you know, non-assaultively, you know, so that can involve throwing things of that nature. So I think it's really great that you mentioned that. So, Aisha? Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think if I were to walk away from them and leave them for a while and, you know, come back to talk to them after I calm down would be much better than angry and fighting with them at that moment.
Okay, so again, using our words, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aisha.
No.
So I said to just take a break and walk away, and take deep breaths or go for a run, since usually, when we fight is when I come home from work, so like, it's the thing that I could do just to get out of the house and recollect my thoughts and then go back and talk to them.
That's great. Yeah, and you mentioned running, so exercise is definitely, obviously, an excellent stress reliever. That's definitely a great kind of coping skill that is very useful when it comes to kind of managing our anger, so that's a great response. Kat?
I just, walk away, and then count them, and count us, or, you know.
Say that one more time, sorry.
You're right, I'm a counter, I'm gonna count.
Oh, okay, you
know,
count,
1,
right.
2, 3, 4, 5,
Okay.
calming down.
I thought you said something, I heard the word account, like accounting for something. I apologize.
I guess those numbers.
Alright, that's great.
I think you need some UT.
Yeah. Probably.
Brenna?
We can maybe take that as a insult facilitator.
Well, seeing as you're, in here on order of your PO, it would behoove you to not be kicked out.
Before what?
Sorry.
Little words.
Did I kick, what'd you say?
She needs little words.
Specifically just for Kat?
Just for Kat, just little
Just for
words for
Kat.
her. She's a counter, not a.
She counts
I
up.
have to do well with that.
She counts up and then back down. Did you get that when she said that?
She has to just count one direction.
Yeah, I think your motto for DBT should be, I got 99 problems, my PO ain't one. So let's try and just keep
Find
things
out for
level.
99.
Yeah, there you go. Think of Jay-Z, play the song in your head. We don't want any problems with your PO, we want your kids.
That's not counting down.
Is that comment?
I think the Teletubby thing on the top of her head.
I hope no one ever watches your plus video. So, Brenna.
Oh, it's good how it's getting longer.
Brenna, are you angry or disgusted? You're really red right now. I'm enjoying this.
Oh gosh,
This is my angry face. Even if we get married, do you think someone's gonna waste 40 hours of their week watching all my videos?
I said I'd just yes the hell out of my parents until they let me stay.
You know, as silly as it sounds, it actually isn't. Sometimes that can be a pretty good coping mechanism. It might be hard for you initially, and it might be extremely frustrating, but I think yesing the hell out of somebody, as you put it, which is actually a really awesome way of putting it, I think can teach you kind of some of that restraint, and it can prevent the situation from escalating. And I think that's kind of the ultimate goal we're getting at here, is observing your emotions and kind of trying to handle them a little bit better, the distress tolerance aspect of things with DBT. And if you're able to kind of give off that response that doesn't escalate the emotion, I think that's a really, really positive thing. So it's an excellent coping skill that you mentioned for that. So, I get one more question for this. and then we're gonna talk about some general things after we wrap that up.
Alright, so I just kind of wanna know, similar to the question that we touched upon before about what the outcome of acting on our urge would be, what would be the outcome of you all using that positive coping scale? So why don't we go ahead and take a couple of minutes, write down our responses, and then we'll all share.
Totally was moving, so that hurts me.
I like this group, I wanna come back. This group is fun.
I'm very glad, it's great to hear that you're getting something out of it.
Good. I think part of the
I feel like I'm with my people.
we value here is free speech, openness.
Suck as bad as everyone else.
Like, this is my tribe.
Good, I'm really glad to hear you feel that way. And Brenna, I'm glad to hear you think we don't suck as much as everybody else. Sometimes it's good to have people you can talk to who are not here judging you. All here for the same purpose.
Not judging your hair.
It's hard to judge beautiful hair, I mean,
Thank you. See that
silky, glossy,
Teletubby hair?
Kardashian hair.
She didn't say Teletubby.
Lisa last time.
Lisa? Who's Lisa?
The one that comes for just supervision.
Oh, okay.
The yoga girl. Oh, that was Wendy.
Wendy Wallace.
And he's around anytime.
Okay, so are you guys almost done? Is that last question? Okay, so what would be the outcome of some more skillful behavior, like the stuff you described in the last question? So if you were able to do something a little more productive or less, I guess, reactionary than that initial urge, if you were able to find a better behavior that would work better, what might be the outcome of that? Lori, let's start with you.
So I wrote that I would have a delayed reaction, so I'd have more time to think about my actual behavior and the action.
That's great.
By waiting or reacting, I could possibly, I think as my therapist called it, positive engagement, like having a different engagement with, my kids and my husband, instead of having being always on the defense.
Okay.
And by waiting and not having the anger reaction right away, I might have, been able to communicate better with my husband and kids, and it might have just been a miscommunication versus me making expressions about them.
That's some really, really good reflections, Lori. I like that you're using the therapeutic language, the positive engagement and stuff. Excellent. Aisha, what about you?
Yeah, so I think it would be a much better reaction if I give them and doesn't show my anger towards them at that moment. I think I should have done that.
Okay, so kind of not laying all your cards on the table, so to speak.
Yeah, just, come down and leave the situation until I come down and then come back and talk to them about the situation and see.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So kind of that delayed reaction like Lori was talking about. Excellent. Jess, what about you?
So I said, after using the skillful behavior, I'll be more calm and relaxed and having either taking deep breaths or going for a run, I would have been able to process why I was angry in the first place and kind of be able to talk through it. But a con that I took is, when I do go back to talk to him, I could get stressed out and angry again, and I could just go back closer.
So it sounds like you kind of have a little apprehension about what might DBT group's almost over, but one more question.
So, like if I finish the thing, right? Is that what you mean?
Say again? Number 8, yes.
Okay.
What would be the outcome of skillful behavior?
I
Like
get
a
my PO
positive
off my
behavior?
back.
Okay. And what about your kids?
I get my kids back.
Okay. Kids back, PO off your back?
Well, then I'll have PCF on my kids, but whatever.
So, if I just ask my parents to be able to live with them, so I'd have a house, they'd continue to pay for everything, so I wouldn't have to get a job. Yeah. live in
Winner.
Live the
Chicken
dream.
dinner. Sorry. I'm hungry.
There's plenty of hummus here and berries.
Oh, I didn't even see those.
There's berries, hummus, pretzels, and white cheddar jalapenos.
I gotta try that white cheddar
It's
jalapeno.
quite spicy.
Do you have the buffalo yet?
What?
Do you have the buffalo one?
Buffalo hummus?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh
what?
my
Yes,
God.
that is so good.
What?
I'll bring some tomorrow.
That
What?
is
do. I'm
absolutely delicious.
Buffalo?
But they only sell it in a big container, so it's good.
It's gonna be gone in like 2 seconds. You might wanna bring
like
2.
smush your face in it.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. What brand makes it?
Joseph.
It's Joseph's Associated.
Wow.
But it's only the big one, you can't
Okay.
get the small one.
I didn't
Interesting.
try it, but I think it's gonna be good.
I
You
will
make
say,
you make your
spicy-
own hummus.
I like, huh?
You
Depends
make your
on,
own.
like, if you like white
I
girl
make
spicy
custom
or,
vanilla,
you
not
know,
now.
'cause for me, I
I also
normally
know
like,
there's
I
my
will
mom.
put hot sauce on
But
literally
no,
anything.
I
I love hot sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say this is for something that doesn't say, it's like jalapeno. When I see jalapeno, I'm like, it's pretty spicy for a jalapeno.
But it's
thing.
more
It's
spicy
good.
than this.
No, it's this is a white cheddar jalapeno spread. So it's like a.
I love it.
Yeah. Please, this is for everybody.
Is it really good in alcohol?
No, it's not that bad.
I do want some of that roasted red pepper.
We'll be done in a second. Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I can wait, I can wait, it's fine.
You want to dip your finger in
Alright,
it?
so,
I mean,
we
I
all,
could just eat it like that, not gonna lie.
I can get some spoons.
Okay.
Or pretzels.
Don't want a double dip.
Okay, so, I just wanna say, I really appreciate all the answers everyone's given. This was a great exercise. How do you all feel about, kind of going around and processing that emotion, that you're having? A lot of you said anger, you said disgust, there's some anger mixed in with it. How did it feel to think about it prior to doing the exercise? Like, what kind of stuff came up when you started thinking about your anger and disgust, negative emotions?
I kinda started to feel a little angry.
Anyone else?
I mean, my feelings towards my parents have changed, but I understand what I have to do with them. And I have to yes them in order to get what I want, so.
Okay.
I don't necessarily feel less disgusted, but I understand that I'll have to deal with it if I wanna live with them and live off of them. So, I guess that's all.
Also, I think, given your situation, it's also a stepping stone to be able to, if you're living with them, and I know you said off with them, but, you know, it's a great place for you to be able to figure out goals that you have of your own. And one goal you mentioned at the beginning was to have a core group of people that doesn't suck.
Mhm.
And I think that'd probably be kind of hard to find if you were not able to have a home and, all that. So I think it's an excellent, you really came up with some excellent solutions.
That's like a
Where's Nathan?
That's like a last day.
What, Nathan? We could get in trouble for that.
Oh.
I just, sorry, that's, I'll be goofy, I'll say silly stuff on here, but not, I don't wanna get in any kinda, yeah. Okay, so, anyway, so how do you guys all feel after going through the worksheet? And now that we've kind of made our way from identifying the emotion all the way down to how our body feels, what we think about the emotion, what our urges are, and kind of coming to a place where we can identify some behaviors that would be closer to the ideal for yourself. How do you feel now after going through all of this with the group and hearing your peers' responses?
I mean, I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way.
Okay. So some solidarity.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel knowing that, you know, everyone kind of is able to relate? Makes you feel good?
I like that, we were all kinda laughing, so it kinda helped me
Mhm.
feel a little bit better.
Yeah. Just have some lightheartedness is nice to kinda throw in the mix to get everybody a little bit more comfortable.
I think it, you know, especially things like anger and stuff like that can be really kind of heavy emotions, you know, and you know, when you have mood disorders, personality disorders, any kind of issue where the emotions are getting out of control and stuff, being around a group of people who kind of understand what you're going through and in some way feel similarly, I think it's makes it easier to kind of process and makes it easier to find some humor in it. Brenna, I know something you said about the disgust kind of feeling when you're around your parents and boyfriend and people who just suck and don't get it. And Lori, some of what you said about your family kind of, I got the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe some taking you for granted and them feeling like they're lazy doing their own thing. But when you're around a whole group of people who struggle with those same issues, I think sometimes we can find both lightheartedness and kind of commiseration. And I'm glad to hear a lot of you feel somewhat better afterwards. What about the coping skills? What about, do you think you could see yourself using that kind of adjusted reaction?
That takes a lot of practice. I think for me, it's just like going from 0 to 10, it's just gonna have to take a lot of effort for me to actually do it. That's gonna be the tough part, but I think once I start to actually do it more consistently, it'll probably get better.
Awesome. I think another thing we can do next time we meet as a group is doing role plays and stuff like that. It might sound a little bit silly, but I think it can kind of provide a pretty realistic idea of what might happen when you get in that situation. It'll at least give you practice using it. So that way when you have to use it in real life, it doesn't come as a surprise. It's kind of like, okay, well, I did this before, I can do it again. Excellent. Any thoughts from anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate all the effort you put in today. You all did a wonderful job, and I look forward to seeing you again at our next meeting next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
This is group.